Another beautiful day here in Labrador. The lakes are gone, the snow is gone. Oh, just even right there, just bringing up slab, trying to turn around. Probably the last trail ride for this thing. Just a little end of season review. Mostly the same of my mid-season review. You can see here on this channel too. Not a lot has changed since then. I think I changed my bag setup, and I put a bunch of kilometers on. So I got 3,300, and it'll be 50 by the time I get home. There's probably only 200 I haven't put on myself. I've ridden it in a wide variety of conditions, and I can say that it is a better all-around snowmobile than I gave it credit for at the beginning of the year. The wide front end definitely hinders it off trail compared to, say, Skidoo backcountry. See, it's the 42-inch front end, but the clutching and the suspension geometry and all that stuff make it actually pretty good off trail. I've had it stock a bunch of times, but it crawls out of a hole, I think, better than a comparable size backcountry. That 1.75 lug actually performs a lot better than I thought it would. And you want to talk about something that stops, holy cow, it stops. When you pull on the brake, something happens. So a lot of people talk about suspension in these. It's always the big thing in the Lynx suspension. So start up front, Kashmir coated, Pro 46, high and low, and the rebound. So I didn't struggle to set up the skid at all. It just rides amazing. The front, I didn't like the front for most of the year. What I ended up doing, playing. So the low speed, which is the middle, is 2 out. So typically we always counted turns in, but apparently I've been doing it wrong my whole life according to the dirt bike world and stuff. So I ended up with 2 out from fully closed on the low speed, and the high speed, which takes a 17mm, I'm all the way out. And then down here, I can't remember the exact amount of clicks, but I'm about 2/3 out or 1/3 in, however you want to count it. So that finally got the front end to not be like really alive and all over the place. I didn't like it at first on the little edges. It was really lively and it wasn't planted. It's planted now, but it doesn't necessarily have the bottoming resistance that I'm looking for. So that will be a revalve. Nothing serious. Time to get them serviced anyway. So I'll get Todd at TLD suspension to make a little modification to the shim stack. I'm sure it'll be better next winter. The rear, when I first got the sled, I thought the rear was absolutely perfect. Oh my goodness, best skid ever. But it's because I didn't trust the front. Once I got the front figured out, my pace got a lot faster, and then I had to start adjusting the rear. And no doubt right now it rides really good. I'm like 100% pleased with how the rear rides. However, the clickers are in a lot. I can't tell you the exact number of clicks because I just started from baseline, which is somewhere in the middle, and just kept on turning in. But they're way in. I don't think there's a whole lot of adjustment left. So that'll be a revalve too, to try and get the clickers opened up. That helps extend oil life in my experience. So a couple more things. Those skis, stock, they're good. With a set of dual carbides, they're really good. That is one of the better ski setups I've ever ridden, is these stock skis with the dual carbides on them, so I'm pleased with that. The front bumper, I like that. I don't know, it might be simple, but that's one of the things on this snowmobile I like the most. It's just a stock front bumper, and it's steel, and it got extra bracing under the hood, and it's mounted good enough. You don't need to add stuff, it just works. You see, I still have my big old man windshield. I ride a lot. 130, 140, 150, minus 30, minus 40. So it gets cold if you don't have that, and I just leave it on. I'm just so used to it. It doesn't really seem to be awful. I mean, if I was going out shoveling jumps, I'd pop it off, but besides that, who cares? Rox Flex Tech handguards, you usually can't see them because I usually got the gauntlets. They're indestructible, love them. This is bothersome to me. Look at that. Skidoo. I went to my dealer to try and get a Lynx handlebar bag, and they couldn't sell me one in Canada. That's just foolish, but anyway, there we go. Rear bumper, you see I had to beat this up. A buddy of mine broke his right here on this bolt hole with a sliding toe, so I added this to the outside. I probably could have done something sleeker and not as noticeable, but I did it late one night with material I had in the garage, so here we go. I think everything else that matters you'll find in my mid-season review, but that's just a couple highlights of what I had to do to get the front suspension and the skis sorted out and all that stuff. So overall, really pleased. I don't know what the new suspension calibration is going to be like next year. I think it will address my concerns with the front being too harsh out of the box. I don't know what it'll do for bottom resistance, but overall super impressed. Glad I bought this sled. Don't regret it one bit, and I definitely would recommend to the type of person that feels like a consumer model XRS is just not aggressive enough. If you find yourself buying an XRS and the suspension is soft and you're springing up and revalving and all that kind of stuff, this is probably a good rig for you. If you buy an XRS and you think that maybe it should have electric shocks, or you bought the one with the electric shocks and you think that's the best thing in the world, and you're not quite as aggressive and you enjoy really flat cornering, I suggest you stick with like a 137 XRS or something. But this is a good cross with the wide front end and the more flotation and stuff. I like it. Anyway, any questions, just put in the comments.